We're officially getting started. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. I know we're remote, but I have my last little bit of hand sanitizer just in case. I don't know if we can get sick from Zoom. I hope not, but just in case, let's stay as safe and as we possibly can. I know a lot of you are on the front lines serving customers right now. So thank you for all that you're doing. And I hope this is helpful to you. So here's the format. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of review from the video assignments. If you did not watch the video, I'll know. No, I won't. I won't know. Just pretend you watched the video and it'll be cool. And then you can watch it later. It's less than 10 minutes of video, totally worthwhile. We're going to use the chat feature. So if you want to find the chat feature, there's some optional interaction that way. And then I want to answer your questions, your specific questions. Now, I expect a lot of people on the webinar today. It will be easier for me to answer questions if you find that button labeled Q&A. Click that Q&A button, send your question that way. I know a little clunky because we're doing chat, we're doing Q&A, but chat is kind of just, we're interacting with everybody. Q&A is so I can make sure I don't miss your specific questions. All right, let's see if I can share my screen again, and thank you all for joining in today. I'm gonna find this angry guy again. Where did he go? Okay, let's see. Having some technical difficulties already. Good to know, right? Good to know a few technical difficulties. Let me try this again. Here we go. Here we go. I think we got it. We should see our angry guy here in just a moment. All right. And I'll bring our chat back up. Okay, so the first question I have for you, and this is via chat, so I'll try to be clear. Questions, Q&A, discussion via chat. I wanted to ask you, what are you experiencing right now? Do you have upset customers? And try to be succinct, but what are some of the challenges that you are experiencing when serving customers? So I'm going to be quiet for just a moment and I'll let you respond via the chat function. I'll try to call out a few of them, but try to keep an eye on what other people are writing so you get a sense of what others are going through as well. So the question is, what sorts of challenges are you facing with upset customers right now? All right, awesome to hear from a couple of you. Managing unrealistic expectations. Thanks, Nancy. That is definitely a huge challenge. Let's see, a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And we're going to talk about anxiety today and the baggage that people are bringing in with them or bringing to that phone call or that chat or that email or however you're serving people. There's a lot of fear. Absolutely. People are working, especially it looks like a couple of you are working in the financial industry or the banking industry. People are really worried, managing just negative messaging while working in claims. It's got to be tough. Thanks, Renata. So for those of you who are sharing, and this is not required, of course, but those of you who are sharing, it's really good to see some of the challenges that you're facing. And I'm hearing from a lot of people, these are very similar things. We see the people who are working on the front lines in customer service right now really feeling beleaguered by customers. And our goal over the course of these 3 training video club meetings is to really give you some specific skills you can use right away. So I want to go to our assignments for that. And our assignments, we had one was to make a list of 3 things you'd like to learn. Now, here's a secret. Anytime you do any training, whether it's reading a book, watching a training video, taking a class, start with your objectives. It's a lot easier to find what you're looking for if you know what you're looking for. And that's what this exercise was about. So for those of you who share, these are the types of challenging customers I'm facing with. Something on your list should deal with or should address, I want to know how to better manage expectations, for example, or I want to know how to make customers feel better when they come in with a lot of anxiety about financial issues. Whatever the case may be, start with the list of what you'd like to learn. It makes it easier for you to find the right lessons in whatever learning experience you're part of. Now, we also had a couple of videos that I wanted to ask you to watch, the tending to emotional needs and understanding our natural instincts. And this is trying to keep the videos really, really short. You'll notice there's a lot more to the course than we're going to cover in our training video club. We're only looking at chapter 1, and in each week, just a couple of videos. That's by design. I want to keep this manageable for you. You're, of course, welcome to watch more if you'd like. But by keeping it manageable, the idea is watch a couple of videos and then go back to work and apply the concepts. So let's see. I would like to do now a little video review. I know all of you watched the video. Of course you watched the video. But I want to share with you, I think this is the highlight of the whole club. If you get this point, you'll figure out the rest of it. But this is the most important element. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Bear with me just a moment. Y'all are so patient, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to attempt to share the just some snippets from the assigned videos. And what I want you to do, I'm going to share the first scene. It's the coffee shop scene. I know you all saw that. I want you to watch the barista in the first scene I'll show you, and notice what happens when he lets the customer's negative emotions get to him. Watch how he reacts to that. And so let's see if I can share this with you, and I'm going to try to share the audio as well. So bear with me just one moment. Let's see if I get everything here just right. Okay. Understanding our natural instincts. And I'm going to share this brief clip with you right now.
Yeah, can I help you?
Yeah, you guys screwed up my drink order again. I was here 2 days ago and you did the exact same thing. I asked for 4 pumps of vanilla. You gave me like maybe 2.
Well, it's not my fault that your drink got screwed up last time. I wasn't even here 2 days ago, so.
Whatever, you're here today. 4 pumps of vanilla, how hard can that be?
Okay, I hope you were able to hear the audio. I hope you were able to see that. If not, we'll figure out next time. Here's what I wanted you to focus on. First of all, did you notice when the barista let the customer's anger get to him? And you saw this, a lot of you said this in your comments earlier, that you're dealing with customers who are already upset. They're already angry. They're bringing their baggage in. And that seemed to be the case with that customer. I mean, who flips out over how much vanilla is in your latte? People do, but it's usually because there's other things going on in the background. And that feels like kind of an attack. So the barista acted exactly the wrong way. And I'm going to show you the right way to do it in just a moment. But I want to ask you, and you can weigh in on this via chat. Did you notice at the very beginning of the interaction something else that the barista did wrong before he experienced that fight or flight instinct that we learned about in the video? If anybody spotted it, will you let me know via chat? What did you notice the barista do wrong at the very beginning of the interaction? I'm going to give you a moment. All right. So some of the body language, he did not acknowledge the customer. His back was away from her, didn't greet her. Susanna, you got it. And not only that, he showed his annoyance at the very beginning. In other words, even before the customer really got into him, he had his own baggage on display. And let's face it, right now, a lot of us are nervous. We're uneasy. Our finances have changed dramatically, or we're worried that our finances are about to change dramatically. We're worried about friends, family, loved ones, how to get toilet paper, how to get more sanitizer. We're worried about a lot of things. We have our own baggage, and if we're not careful, we're bringing that baggage with us, and it's on display. And this is the tough part about being in customer service. We're human, but we don't get to be fully human in the sense that displaying that kind of baggage actually adds fuel to the fire. So I'm glad that you understood that and you saw that he actually put a little bit of kindling that customer's anger ignited even before the fight or flight instinct came away. Now, I want to show you the second video. This is the right way to do it. And see if you notice a difference, not only in how he reacts when the customer directs anger towards him, but also notice how he starts the interaction before getting that anger barrage. So bear with me just a moment. I'm going to do my best to share this with you with sound and everything else. Okay. This is a little bit of a new thing for me in terms of sharing this specific way. Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, so I'm going to hit play in just a moment. Again, look for what does the barista do before the interaction really starts that sets things up well, and then watch carefully how he handles the customer's anger.
How may I help you?
Yeah, you guys screwed up my drink order again. I was here 2 days ago and you did the exact same thing. I asked for 4 pumps of vanilla. You gave me like maybe 2.
Well, I'm sorry we didn't get it right, but I'd be happy to remake it for you and add more vanilla.
Yeah, I just don't understand why this keeps happening. Like 4 pumps of vanilla, how hard can that be?
No, I completely understand. I actually a peppermint person myself. Can't get enough of it. Mm-hmm. This was a vanilla latte, right?
Okay, what did you notice this time? What was the difference in how the barista handled things the second time around? I'm going to ask you to go to the chat function if you don't mind. Share a few things. He showed some empathy, absolutely. Gina, you notice he came over immediately, right? He started the interaction with a smile. So his baggage was not on display in the first one. As soon as he noticed the customer, he turned to her, he smiled, and then when she attacked him, you saw that pause. And that pause, if you get nothing else from this training video club, when you get attacked by customers, verbally blamed for things that you screwed up, if you could take that pause, because to be human, we're going to react with the fight or flight instinct. That's our human instinct. That's our human reaction. And the fight or flight instinct is either to get angry and fight back. No, you screwed up. We saw that in the first video. Or just get away from the situation. Just, I don't want to deal with you. Goodbye. He didn't do either, but the instinct was there. And what he did was he recognized the instinct. He paused, collected himself, and reframed. And once he reframed, I don't know if you noticed, the customer tried to attack him again, and he wasn't having it. He kept smiling because he was already in the right frame of mind now. That is far and away the most important thing that you can take from serving your angry or upset customers. You have your own baggage for sure. Our customers definitely have their own baggage today, and they're not going to be the ones necessarily that are going to smile and treat you with dignity or treat you the way you should be treated. So we've got to step it up. And you saw in that second episode where the barista did just that. So I'm glad you were able to spot that and see the difference. I want to remind a couple of you, maybe you just tuned in, we're using the chat function maybe to share some commentary and some examples. If you have questions for me based upon the content that we covered in those 2 training videos, I'm going to invite you to use the Q&A button. I have set aside some time at the end to answer your questions, so make sure you use that. Okay, I have some more questions for you though. Let me go back to my handy slide deck here and see if I could get this to show. Okay, and bear with me just a moment. I'm gonna bring chat back up. Okay, so we did the video review. I have now a poll for you, and let's see if I can launch this poll successfully. My question for you is, in the past week, have you experienced the fight or flight response when serving a customer? And on the screen, you can see, I hope, some of the symptoms of the fight or flight response. And I'll read them to you in case you cannot see it. Symptoms include a flushed face, increased heart rate, shortness of breath, muscle tension, sweating, tunnel vision. It's that feeling like when you're maybe walking down the street and suddenly there's a snarling dog that's coming at you and you're either gonna snarl back or get away from the dog. That feeling Have you experienced that with a customer? Let me keep the poll open for just a few more seconds to see, and then we'll get a look at the results. Now, this is really interesting, and I suspect some of the results are related to perhaps what industry you're in or what role that you're in. About 2/3 of you have experienced this, and about 1/3 of you, I feel great for you, you have not. Let me end the poll here. Thank you. And let's see if I could share the results with you so you can see this. So just under 2/3 of you, 64% of you said, yes, I have experienced this in the last week. About 41% of you said no. So great for you. The key here, though, is like that barista, when you experience that customer or that situation that's triggering the fight or flight instinct, people for years have said, don't take it personally. We can't help it. We're human. We do take it personally. What you can help, though, is recognizing that instinct. And just like you saw the barista, putting the brakes on those emotions for a moment, catching yourself and reminding yourself you're there to help that customer feel better. And as soon as you do that, you can shift the entire interaction and great things can happen, but you have to catch that instinct first. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you for participating in the poll. And let me make the poll go away. So we're going to do Q&A in just a moment, but I want to share with you, these are the assignments for next week. You are going to get an email from me with a video clip from today and the assignments for next week. I'll send it again on Monday. Another reminder. I hope I'm not sending you too many emails, but I know a lot of people are, sometimes you see one, but not the other. I want to make sure you stay on track with us. I have just one video for you to watch next week, but this is an application session. So it's the listening with empathy video. It's less than 5 minutes. And then I want you to find an opportunity to implement the Laura technique. And if you're not sure what the Laura technique is, that's why you watch the video. Watch the video and then try to apply the technique. And we'll come back at the same time next Friday. Okay, let me go back. This is your chance now to ask me what questions you might have based upon serving upset customers. Once again, I'll ask you to use the Q&A button to ask me what questions you might have, issues you'd like me to try to address. And you can use the chat button just for general discussion. And grab a sip of water, give you a moment to ask away. Okay, so a few questions are starting to come in. Thank you. I do have, before I start answering the questions, I do want to ask, and I might set some time aside some time at the very end for this. I want your feedback too. I think I said to a few people who are just starting to tune in, I've definitely created this on the fly. For some of you, this was obvious. We had some technical difficulties earlier in the week, and thank you all for those of you who let me know about it, and for those of you who were patient through it. But please let me know what I can do to support you. And if there's changes or different things that I can make, or just other things outside of this training video club that you need, I'm here to help you, and let me know how I can do that. Okay, so we've got a few questions here. The first one is, I work with both external and internal customers. Our internal customers expect priority service. And when we are busy with external customers, we often get disgruntled internal customers because we aren't putting them at the top of the list. What do we do about that? Okay, this is a complicated answer to a very straightforward question. I'm sure this happens to a lot of us. Let me see if I can frame it in a few different ways to give you some actionable advice right now. Number one, if you can be clear with your internal customers, not only about how you're prioritizing work, but why you're prioritizing work, that may help in the very near term. Now, sometimes people don't really understand what you're going through. They're only thinking about what they're going through. So if they say, hey, can you help me out with this? And you're like, I'm busy right now. That doesn't sound like you're being very helpful. If, on the other hand, you say, I'd love to help you. Right now, I'm working with this external customer on this particular issue. Can I get back to you in 2 hours? Will that work? That's a better message. It's easier to digest. And research has shown that goes over better. The second thing, this is a little bit more midterm. If you are finding that you're getting the same requests over and over from internal customers, are there other things you can do internally to help those people? As an example, maybe like our customers externally, we put up an FAQ or an automated message to let them know about an issue so they don't call us. Can you do that internally? I worked with an internal team once where a department designated a individual who was kind of the hotline person to handle all of those internal inquiries so the other folks could keep working on their external projects. So there's different things you can do in the midterm. Long term, this might be beyond this, is we really need what's called a customer service vision. And that's a shared definition of outstanding service that gets everybody on the same page. And we will use that to align everyone's priorities. It's a little bit far off maybe for the day-to-day. So start with a clear explanation on how you're serving customers and why, and that might help. It's a tough situation for sure because we all expect that higher level of service. Okay, some great questions coming in. How to restore faith with a customer who has a contract with our organization. I'm guessing based upon that question that maybe there was some service failure and the contract was not fully honored, for example. If I'm misunderstanding, please help me out by clarifying. But restoring faith, there's a few things that we can do. And actually, in that training video, working with upset customers, we're not covering it in the training video club because we're just focusing on the here and now. But some of the how do you repair the relationship, there's a whole chapter on that. So I'll turn you to that. But a couple things that you can do. One is sometimes it's just a matter of not just recovering, but over recovering. In other words, restoring the customer to being whole, whatever that looks like in your business, but then going above and beyond. Now, you have to be careful here. You know, sometimes I'll give you an example that a lot of us can relate to. You go to a restaurant, you have a bad experience, and immediately they're like, hey, free dessert. If you're not looking for dessert or you're already full, that free dessert is not fixing the problem. So make sure you're listening to your customers' needs. Try to restore them based upon what they need. The next thing you can do is just let some time go by. Sometimes customers just need a moment to pump the brakes and cool down. And the third thing is to follow up. Let some time pass, maybe an appropriate amount. Once you try to recover, give them a cooling period, and then finally follow up with them and try to restore the relationship, doing something positive. Can take time, though. Great question. Okay, let's see. Is everyone capable of changing how they respond to angry or upset customers? And the question is, this is learned behavior versus personality driven? So it's both, right? It's something we can all practice. It's also something that different personalities find it easier than others. So I know some people, and you could just yell at them right in their face for no good reason, and they would smile and absorb it. My grandmother was like that. I don't know how she did it, but she was amazing. I can't believe her patience. I can't do that. I'm not that person at all. It takes me a lot more practice. So yes, different people have different capabilities here. However, the more we practice, the better we are. And here's something we could all do. When you encounter a situation with an angry or upset customer, after that situation, do a real quick mini debrief, or the next time you take a break, replay the situation in your head and think about how you reacted. Now that you may think the customer is wrong and they were unfair and unkind and mean, and all that might be true, but you can't change that customer. You can change yourself. So think about how you reacted, what you would do differently if you encountered the same situation again, and then set an intention to do that. And it becomes kind of a cycle. So I have an experience, I think about the experience, I think about anything I might change, and then I set a positive intention to make that change. And so the next time it happens, you become more likely to do it. But if you are used to flying off the handle every time you get an upset customer, this definitely will be more difficult for you. So it's not easy, but hang in there. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, which is awesome because I either did such a great job or you just don't have any more questions for me. We have a few minutes left. I'd love to get your feedback. Is this helping? Are there other things that I can do to help you? And we can even go back to your original Why are you doing this training video club? Are there specific challenges you're facing? Maybe we can address those. So you can use Q&A if you want. You can use the chat function if you want to share that with everyone. I want to hear from you. I'm doing this on the fly, and I'm trying to adjust to your needs, and your feedback is incredibly valuable. Let me give you just a second to share if you have anything. All right, look at that. Ooh. Okay, we've got another good question. How do you manage a situation and calm the person when you cannot actually solve the problem and their expectations are unreasonable? Okay, a few things here. We're going to unpack that a little bit more with next week's assignment, the Laura technique. It's going to share with you exactly how to do that. So I don't want to spoil all of it for you right now, but I will point something out. A lot of you have asked about managing expectations. So as a little bit of a bonus, I have another course on LinkedIn Learning on managing expectations. And I don't have the link handy, but I'm going to give you the title. You can search it. And if you want to check out that course, it's a pretty short course. You could check that out. It's going to give you a lot more next level techniques for managing expectations. I will tell you that the real quick example, and then we'll answer this more, I think, with next week's assignment. The real quick example is focus first on calming the person. And that's extremely important. If we jump to rational needs and we're telling them no, that just makes them feel worse. So focus first on calming the person, and the technique, the Laura technique, is going to help you do that. The next thing that you can do once you help them feel a little bit better, you want to convince them that you're on their side. So there's a difference between being confrontational and saying, no, I can't do that, versus I'm on your side. Let's see what we can do. It might end up being in the same place, but let's see what we can do, or let's see how we can help you with whatever you're trying to achieve. Sounds way different than, no, we don't do that. The third thing then is to work with the customer to find options. And options are more empowering than a no. So even if the options are crummy, they're not great, they're not what the customer wants, but there's something. If the customer feels that you're listening, you're empathetic, and you're on their side, they're more likely to feel better. An example came from the airline industry a few years ago. Research showed that what did people get upset about? The flight delay or cancellation, or how was it handled? How was it handled? Hands down was what people really got upset about, not the delay itself. That's out of the flight attendant's control, but how you handle it, or the gate agent, how you handle it, that's something you can control. You still can make them feel better. So great question, and we're going to handle that next week. All right, and a couple of you said, want to know about how to improve being empathetic while delivering a negative message. So again, the expectations course can help with that. But the Laura technique, that's all about empathy next week. And so that assignment's going to help you. And then Nancy wants to know specific chapters in the book. So thank you for that. For those of you who didn't see it, I jokingly said today's training video club is brought to you by my book, Getting Service Right. It looks at a lot of these challenging and difficult obstacles. And this week, the fight or flight instinct, you can learn more about that in chapter 10. I realize I'm not close enough to the camera here. Chapter 10, Emotional Roadblocks. It's going to take you a long time to get it if you order the paperback version right now, but you can download Kindle right away. So it's available on Amazon.com immediately. All right, y'all. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you for doing the training video club. You can reply to any of those emails that goes directly to my inbox, and we can have a conversation offline here. I really appreciate you. I'm here to support you. Hang in there, and we're going to make this better together. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.